Friday night in Baton Rouge, the LSU Tigers one win from a decisive Game 3. The Florida State Seminoles one win from the Women's College World Series. You are watching the NCAA Softball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Day 2 of the Supers, Florida State and LSU in Game 2. It's been a wild 24 hours already. Virginia Tech with a win yesterday. Alabama by the skin of its teeth, beating Kentucky earlier today. Oklahoma, the #1 seed, lived up to the billing with a win over Washington, with a couple of interesting games down to the wire on the top half of our bracket. We are in Baton Rouge again. Good evening, everyone. Kevin Brown, two-time All-American, Amanda Scarborough, Jalen Johnson down on the field shortly. So Florida State, not your typical Seminoles team. When they won the national title 3 years ago, they hit a lot of home runs. They don't do that anymore, but they pitch and they defend.
That has really become their strengths as the season has gone on, and it's continued into the NCAA tournament and into this super regional. Last night, Kat Sandercock got the start. She threw the complete game, only gave up 2 hits, and their defense was so strong back behind her, as they have been in the NCAA tournament. But this is a deep pitching staff. They've not just relied on Kat Sandercock. They've thrown Kaylin Arnold and also Danielle Watson. But Kevin, they've only given up 2 runs the entire NCAA tournament, and that was the first game that they played.
Only one of those earned as well. A 23-inning shutout streak coming into tonight's game, and it will be Kaylin Arnold, the transfer from Tennessee, to start. So Florida State's one win for the World Series, but LSU got them right where they want them. I mean, we're being cheeky, but this has been the situation historically in this matchup and this season for Beth Torina's Tigers.
Yeah, for Beth Torina and her team this year, they've really struggled in Game 1s of the 3-game series. In fact, they're 3-8 in those games. However, they're a team that has gotten stronger as the series goes on, saving their best for last.
7 series coming into this one. They've lost Game 1. They have won 5 of those 7. And a few of those were against teams in this super regional round. LSU and Florida State, Game 2 of 3, maybe Game 2 of 2. We'll find out tonight.
The NCAA Softball Super Regionals is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Much lovelier night from Baton Rouge. A little sticky yesterday, Friday night, 28th of May. Sydney Sherrill having a chat with her starting pitcher tonight. It is Kaylin Arnold, her first 3 years at Tennessee. Her final 2 here at Florida State.
Yeah, and she's a pitcher who's gained so much trust in Coach Alameda, who's calling pitches for her inside the dugout as the season has gone on. She's a rise ball, curveball mix. Will throw that changeup on any count, so look for it to be the first pitch, backwards count. She'll throw it on all counts.
LSU, the road team in Game 2, even though it's in their home park. They were the home team yesterday. Their starting lineup presented by Capital One. Very similar to yesterday. Allie Koponen's going to start. That means Taylor Tidwell will hit at second base. Shelby Sinceri, the designated player. Tigers did not have a hit yesterday with runners on base, but they did not have many of those situations. They'll try to do better tonight. Aaliyah Andrews to lead it off. Game 2, Baton Rouge in the Super Regionals, and ball 1 to start us from Kaylin Arnold. LSU just 2 hits yesterday. Andrews had 1 of them. 1 hit in the game for Aaliyah Andrews, 287 in her decorated LSU career. There's a chance that this is her final night in purple and gold. A swing through at 68 miles per hour from Kaylin Arnold, and a ball and a strike to Aaliyah Andrews, the LSU leadoff hitter. Senior from Oldsmar, Florida, who leads the Tigers in average on base percentage, runs and hits and triples, and stolen bases.
And we saw this yesterday, the fact that Sydney Sherrill, the third baseman for FSU, one of the best third basemen in the country, is not scared to play into the slapper's face. She's a little bit more closer to third base now with 2 strikes. Not going to be as much of a bunt opportunity, but actually she's heading on back up toward the plate now, but trying to honor the speed of Aaliyah Andrews, but also say, hey, test me.
Arnold starts the game with a strikeout. 3 swinging strikes against Aaliyah Andrews.
You're going to notice if you watched yesterday's game that Arnold throws much differently than Sander Koch, the pitcher who got the start for Florida State yesterday. She's more up in the zone. She'll get more pop-ups and more swings and misses underneath the rise ball that she'll throw.
LSU only swung and missed at 5 pitches in the game yesterday. 3 in 1 at bat tonight. Now Sierra Briggs, LSU left fielder. And a called strike 1 from Alex Leap. Eddie Cooper's at first, Naomi Erdahl at second, and Terry Holt at third to round out your 4-person umpiring crew. Briggs had LSU's other hit yesterday. Strikeout, sacrifice bunt, single.
Can tell too that Arnold's throwing with good velocity, 68, 69 miles an hour. Both pitchers that are usual starters for FSU throw in the upper 60s and throw with good velocity.
Second team All-ACC selection, Kaylin Arnold out of Maryville, Tennessee. 4 2/3 scoreless in the regionals Saturday against UCF. That's fouled away by Briggs just over what is the Florida State dugout tonight. Teams have switched dugouts, with Florida State representing the home team in Game 2. If we get to Game 3 tomorrow, then LSU would be home once again.
LSU is actually in their normal dugout, even though they're the visiting team in this game.
Yeah, oddities of NCAA rules. Visiting team, first base dugout. On a 1-2, Briggs knocks one back to Arnold, who throws her out just in time to Elizabeth Mason at first.
It's always a good thing when you're a Florida State or opponent of LSU and you're able to get that speed out. 1 and 2 in the lineup, Andrews and Briggs. The thing about LSU's offense, Kevin, is that they have a really good balance. They have that speed and then they have power in the middle of their lineup.
And here is the power. Home run leader Taylor Pleasance, the redshirt freshman with 12. And a first pitch big cut. And a big arm from Arnold, 70 miles per hour, and Kaylin's feeling good. Pleasance, a home run and RBI leader for the Tigers, leads them in slugging percentage at .578. SEC newcomer of the year.
You think about it too, Kaylin Arnold transferred from Tennessee and she's a 5th-year senior. She's a super senior, getting that extra year after she transferred to Florida State last year. It was her first year playing for Florida State, but she's comfortable in an SEC environment. She's faced LSU before, and she's just a veteran for this FSU team.
3 years in the conference, 5 years playing high-level softball. Another swinging strike. That's 5 in the first inning, matching Sander Koch's total from yesterday in just 11 pitches. Different kind of arm, perhaps just as effective. We'll see. 1 and 2. And Pleasant smokes one into the gap. This will be LSU's first extra base hit of the Super Regionals. A double for Pleasance, her team leading 12th.
Good to see her get on time with this pitch. It's a 1 and 2 count, and she's looking for something more up in the zone. Finds a gap out there in left center field. Probably the best swing that we've seen Taylor Pleasance have in this Super Regional.
"23 trips to the plate for LSU yesterday. 2 singles, 1 walk. A first inning double tonight, and now Amanda Doyle. And Doyle with a ground ball slowly to Sydney Sherrill to end the first. So Arnold quickly works around the double. Mudge, Sherrill, and Harding to bat for Florida State against Allie Kilponen. Back to Baton Rouge after a scoreless top of the first from Kaylin Arnold, and Florida State will bat. And we welcome those of you who just saw Oklahoma State knock off Texas in Game 1 of the Stillwater Super Regionals. Good evening from Baton Rouge. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough, and Jalen Johnson. A delight to be with you as LSU tries to keep this series alive. A 1-0 win for Florida State yesterday, and the Tigers will turn to their best pitcher by ERA, the junior Allie Kilponen.
Yeah, Kilponen is a pitcher who has gotten stronger and stronger and become one of the aces for this LSU team. She'll live more up in the zone. She will throw hard. Mix a curveball and a rise ball, actually similar to Kaylin Arnold for Florida State, who is the starting pitcher. Kilponen is just really grown in the circle for Beth Torina this year.
Technically a third-year sophomore Kilponen out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And a couple of strikes to start against the leadoff hitter, Kaylee Mudge. Starting lineup for Florida State is presented by Capital One. It is the exact same starting lineup as yesterday. A lot of World Series title experience in this lineup. Cheryl, Mason, Davis, Morgan, Shelnuck. 5 of the 9 hitters were a major part of that national championship winning team in 2018. This was not one of them. Kaylee Mudge, making just her 8th start of the year in left field, has become their leadoff hitter the last couple of weeks. And Mudge sends one into center. Aaliyah Andrews drifting back, and that is easy for maybe the nation's best defensive outfielder. Well, LSU is down 1-0 in the series, but remember, in 2017 and 18, the team that lost Game 1 in this matchup in the Supers went on to win the series. And LSU this season under Beth Torina has dramatically underachieved in Game 1 of a series. Game 2, Game 3, much different story.
Yeah, they get more comfortable. They take pressure off of themselves as the series goes on, and able to score more runs for their pitching staff. The one difference in those 3-game series earlier on is that they were going to play them. No matter what, they were going to play all 3 games in those SEC regular season series.
Sydney Sherrill drives one to left. A late start for Briggs. It's over her glove. Sherrill, the ACC's all-time doubles leader, has a 2-base hit in the first.
She's a hitter for Florida State who is really starting to heat up. Gets a pitch on the outside corner, just stays on it and barrels it up over the head of Briggs, who reaches for it, but it just had the distance on it to get over her head all the way to the wall. And a double, the second double that we've already seen in this game.
Yesterday we had 8 hits, all singles combined. Doubles for each team in the first inning. Feels like an offensive explosion already. A 1-0 Florida State win yesterday. 2 singles and a sacrifice fly brought home the only run, and Kaylee Harding had one of those singles. Advanced Sherrill to third in the 6th inning yesterday before Cassidy Davis's game-winning sac fly. Just another in a line of terrific at-bats for this true freshman. Runners in scoring position this year, 324. About 60 points higher than her regular average as she takes strike 1.
And she's a freshman who's just snuggled in between the veterans of Cheryl, Mason, Davis, and Danny Morgan and Shelnutt down at the bottom. But hitting in the 3 spot for Florida State, it's a big deal, especially when you're a freshman.
That ball is roped but foul. Harding out in front on 2-2. Did that go in the barrel on the fly? We're being told on the truck that that ball went in the barrel on the fly. Or on a bounce, at least. As Harding chases strike 3. That ball didn't go anywhere.
It didn't. You're going to see Allie Kilponen want to expand the zone, more up in the zone, and she'll also work away. Kind of a combination between a rise and a curve. Gets her chasing on a curveball way off the plate.
Now Elizabeth Mason, and a first pitch strike from Kilponen. Mason, one of the heroes of that postseason run 3 years ago, senior from Tampa. 201st career game, 190th career start. Been an up and down year for Elizabeth, who was hitting in the leadoff spot early in the year, got dropped all the way to 8th, and now 8 games in a row in the cleanup spot as her bat has started to come alive late. Mason waits back on the off-speed pitch and fouls it away for strike 2.
Yeah, you're not used to seeing Elizabeth Mason's name right next to a .226 batting average. It's kind of the story of the entire Florida State team, especially their vets.
Career .275, slugging .519. It's a Florida State team that has Mason and 4 other players who've been on that World Series team. And by and large, they have not lived up to their collective offensive standards. And statistically, maybe they're not gonna, but somewhere in the back of your head, we keep thinking it. Maybe one of these days is gonna be the day where Mason and Shelnut and Morgan figure it out, and Florida State puts up an 8 spot. And even though they haven't, Monty Alameda's team is still a win away from Oklahoma City. Kilponen's 2-2 is swung through. Back-to-back strikeouts, swinging for Allie Kilponen in a scoreless first.
And both of those strikeouts with a runner in scoring position that has speed was Cheryl, but Kilponen goes up in the zone a couple of times with a little curve action to get 2 strikeouts with the runner in scoring position.
Beautiful Friday night for softball at beautiful Tiger Park. Game 2 of the Super Regionals between Florida State and LSU. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough back with you. Going to hear from Jalen Johnson shortly. Seminoles are 1 win away from a return trip to the World Series. A scoreless first inning. That makes it 8 shutout innings in a row to start this series.
Their pitching and defense has been so good the entire year. It's really become their strength with their lack of offense. But specifically in the NCAA tournament, Kevin, they've just gotten it done. And not just relied on one pitcher, but Kat Sandercock, who we saw last night, pitched the complete game to hitters. She's been sharp. And also Kaylin Arnold, who got the start tonight, and Danielle Watson. So they've only given up 2 runs in the entire NCAA tournament. And that was all the way back in their first game in regionals.
Yeah, only Kennesaw State has dinged the Seminoles so far. 1 run earned, 1 unearned. 4 walks, 19 strikeouts in those 24 innings, and just 10 hits allowed to date. Kaylin Arnold's going to work with 5, 6, 7 here, starting with Georgia Clark. And starting with strike 1. Arnold, a 13-pitch first inning. She struck out Aaliyah Andrews. Got a couple of ground outs with a double from Taylor Pleasance sandwiched in between. The Tennessee transfer to the junior Clark, who swings and misses as Arnold drops speeds dramatically.
That is that changeup. It is a pitch that has gotten even stronger here at Florida State, and working with Coach Alameda, she has so much confidence in that pitch to throw it in any count.
Try the corner and miss, ball 1. Georgia Clark had a big-time regional, 5 for 11 last weekend. A home run, 3 walks, drove in 6. A career-high 5 RBIs in the decisive Game 7 Sunday. Clark will take ball 2.
It is interesting, Kevin, when you look at both of these teams, they're so evenly matched when you look at their numbers in terms of what are their strengths and weaknesses, and also in terms of the potential that both of these lineups have all throughout their order, and just haven't really performed the way that you thought they were going to perform this year.
That just misses from Arnold. Yeah, 2 teams that offensively are not what you thought they would be. But if you go to career numbers for players like Clark and Doyle for LSU, Mason, Morgan, Shelnut for Florida State, the career numbers would signify something different. That's fought off to the right side. That lands in foul territory, apparently. No, it is a fair ball. The hands were waved high by Eddie Cooper. It looked like he was going to signal foul ball, and now he is signaling foul. So Doyle was just trying to hang out, or Clark trying to hang out at first base, see if she can get away with it. Eddie Cooper says it's foul.
Yeah, this is a tough one that just had eyes on it. Looked like it was going to fall. It was close. Just foul. An umpire, Eddie Cooper, was right there.
7th pitch to Clark. Oh my. Absolutely scorched into the crowd just past the netting. Hopefully everybody's okay out there.
I think everybody is okay, and that is amazing that they are, because that ball was hit so hard. Everybody's giving a thumbs up.
Beth Torina told us LSU measures exit velocity. She said Georgia Clark probably hits the ball harder than anyone else on the team. This one hit on the ground. Sherrill will cut off Muffley. Good decision by the ACC Defensive Player of the Year.
You can tell that Sydney Sherrill loves playing defense. She loves playing with this infield, giving Josie Muffley a hard time. Like, sorry, I just took away one of your balls, but that's what you're supposed to do as a third baseman, is try to cut it off, because Muffley would have had the harder throw, and Sydney has a better angle.
Just 4 errors on the season, has started all 55 games at third. In fact, everybody in the Florida State infield has started all 55 games at their respective position. Muffley, Flaherty, Mason, Anna Shellnuts made 54 starts behind the plate, 1 at DP. As consistent as it gets as a unit.
Well, it's interesting, too, because Florida State has had that consistency with their infield, but then you see a team like Texas who's in super regionals, and they've mixed up their defensive lineup and had a lot of different changes in that regard, and also a team like UCLA too.
They have survived the lack of infield depth. They've stayed healthy. On 2-0, Gutierrez fouls one off. Freshman from Upland, California, Beth Torina said, I didn't know what to do with her. So she came up with what we're going to see in this game, the outfield switcheroo, which will see Gutierrez place him first, Clark place him first. They'll bring in some different outfielders, use the ability to re-enter to get some better defense and let Gutierrez and Clark get as many at-bats as possible.
Personally, I'm just amazed that you can say outfield switcheroo with a straight face, because every time I say it, I have to like giggle a little bit when I say it, and I just think it's so funny.
It's a fun word, switcheroo. Go ahead, say it.
Switcheroo. I just can't say it without a smile. It's a very technical term and a strategy for LSU.
Beth Torina, nothing if not fully technical. Gutierrez on 2-2 at a pop-up. And this will reach the roof. Good NCAA tournament for Raylene, 5 for 13, along with 2 walks. Also hit by a pitch, so she has reached base 8 out of 16 trips. Arnold's 2-2 is popped up. Flaherty is there, and somewhere out there we're going to check in with Chris Budden.
Ready for the Tigers, designated player for 27, Shelby Sinceri.
We look forward to it, Chris. Number 20 there for Mulapola. And a ground ball base hit here for Shelby Sinceri. Couple of 2-out hits in the game for LSU. Let's take a look at our bracket. Speaking of that Arizona-Arkansas series. Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Arizona-Arkansas, we think, is going to be really, really fun. So much power. Jesse Harper, 5 off the all-time NCAA home run lead. Little Polo with 20 now. Braxton Burnside second in the country in home runs for Arkansas. Winner of that gets the winner of Kentucky, Alabama. Tied, hung on today by a run. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and would you look at this? Unseeded Georgia with wins today. 4-0. The Bulldogs, who finished 11th in the SEC, a win in Gainesville. So Georgia, which ended up hosting as an unseeded team because Athens was a predetermined site, and they got to face Duke, which was not a predetermined host site. They come out of the regional last week, and they are 1 win away from the World Series, finishing 3rd to last in the SEC regular season. Morgan Cummins accidentally got a piece of that, and it's strike 1.
Yeah, so even though that changeup one hop the catcher, I think it hopped into her check swing. Bounce. Hit.
Ball and a strike with a pinch runner, Savannah Stewart at first. And Cummins beats one on the ground to second. 9 scoreless innings in the Super Regionals for Florida State. A 0-0 game, middle of the second in Baton Rouge. Third time in 4 postseasons, Florida State and LSU have met in the Super Regionals, and in 2017, after a Game 1 loss, LSU rebounded to win in 3 in Tallahassee. The script flipped in 2018, a Game 1 win for LSU. Florida State, because of some impending weather, swept a doubleheader on Saturday. The Noles would win that series and go on to win the World Series. And for more on this, let's check in for the first time tonight with Jalen Johnson.
Thanks, Kevin. If you're a believer in trends, then LSU should feel pretty good about where this series stands. When I was with the Tigers earlier, very high spirits, very high energy. They know exactly how to get out of this hole because they've been here before. But if you look over to the other side, the FSU is very happy about where they are. Coach Alameda told us earlier in the week she didn't know how her team, her young team, was going to come out and perform in an atmosphere like this, but they showed up. So, like you said earlier, both teams have them, the other right where they want them.
That's right. You can feel good about it if you're either side. And Lonnie Alameda is saying, look, have to remind my players that today is not going to be about Oklahoma City. Today is about the first pitch, and it's about the next pitch. Staying present. That's the term she's used again and again. A young team thrown into the midst of this raucous environment in Tiger Park. 33 appearances in the NCAA tournament for Florida State, each team with 9 Super Regionals. And the Seminoles, the 2018 champions. Cassidy Davis, part of that championship team, swings through. Strike 2 from Allie Kilponen.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths, too, that this Florida State team has, is they have players on their team who were in Oklahoma City winning a national championship. You can't beat that experience. You can't practice it. You have to be able to live it and breathe it. And so these upperclassmen, like Cassidy Davis, who is up to bat, can calm the nerves of the underclassmen and just have been there, done that before.
Davis takes high, 3-2 from Kilponen to the Florida State DP. LSU started the outfield switcheroo around here. Briggs has gone from left to right. Savannah Stewart is into play left. Aileen Gutierrez down to first base. Davis out to right center field. She'll test Andrews and bang it off the wall. Aaliyah gets to it quickly. And a strike into second will hold Cassidy Davis to a wall ball single.
Good at bat by Cassidy Davis. She's able to square up this changeup, and you're able to see the pitch location of the changeup that's right over the middle of the plate. She's able to stay in her legs, keep her hands back, be able to drive it towards center field for extra base. Oh, sorry, still at first base because the leading Andrews played it so well off of the wall. But either way, it's a great swing, and it scares the pitcher when you hit that hard.
Well, Davis, one of the few Florida State hitters who hasn't had trouble with the changeup in this series. Game-winning sacrifice fly and an off-speed pitch yesterday. Now Devin Flaherty to take strike one. Second baseman Flaherty, first team All-ACC in her first full year. Redshirt freshman from Sarasota, who's been maybe Florida State's best hitter over the last 20 games. First in batting, second in on base in that span coming into the regional. Flaherty a hit in 11 of her last 12. 1 for 3 yesterday. Player who's gone up and down the lineup this year, settled in that number 6 spot.
You're going to notice, too, we have a bit of a tighter strike zone than what I think that we had last night. There's been a couple of pitches from Arnold, and then that pitch right there from Kilponen, a screwball on the outside corner that you want as a pitcher, but not getting the calls.
3-1. And Flaherty takes a strike here. Seems like any time these teams have been in hitters' counts, the pitchers have recovered. Florida State 0 for 7 this series after they've been in a hitter's count. 2-0, 3-1, something like that. Was 3-1 here. And Flaherty on 3-2 serves it foul. Hey, tomorrow 2 more Game 3s in the NBA playoffs for you on ESPN. Sixers look to go up 3-0 on Washington, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. And then the Grizzlies and Jazz, a series tied at a game apiece. John Morant, Donovan Mitchell, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. Countdown crew starts it at 6 Eastern. 7th pitch to Flaherty is nicked into the ground, and she'll see an 8th. And there will be a 9th.
A couple of really good at-bats that Florida State has put together, especially when you think of the way that Kilponen ended the bottom of the first inning after that Sherrill double with 2 back-to-back strikeouts, and then Davis with the quality at-bat and Flaherty with another one.
On the ground to third, Doyle goes to second. Tidwell's throw not nearly in time to first, but LSU gets the lead runner on a fielder's choice, 5-4. And certainly made Kilponen work. 32 pitches to collect 4 outs for Allie Kilponen. Every start she's made in this stadium this year, though, has been a complete game, all 7 of them. And a strike to start Danny Morgan.
Well, and think about how efficient that both pitchers were last night with Shelby Sinceri for LSU, Kat Sandercock for FSU. Both pitched around 88, 87 pitches respectively.
Just 175 combined pitches in 7 innings, 2 complete games. Sinceri, the starter yesterday, was phenomenal. 1 run allowed, and that turned out to be the difference. One and 2 for Danny Morgan.
And you see a Florida State team who just had Flaherty in motion there trying to take second base, possibly a hit and run going on, but you see this Florida State team, they have speed, over 100 stolen bases. They have to execute and manufacture runs in different ways than what we've seen out of them in the past with not as much power.
Tied for 6th in the country in steals. Flaherty holds here as Morgan pops another one out of play. Danny Morgan, member of that national championship team. Tonight is the 258th game of her career. One of 5 players with a national championship ring on this roster. Snap throw to first. Flaherty is in standing.
Well, and with those names that you just saw who've won the national championship, when you look back at their 2019 stats, their collective batting average combined down 100 points, 40 less home runs, over 100 less RBIs in that season. They're just not producing in the same way.
Morgan at .327 on base, couple of home runs, and fouling off pitch after pitch here against Kilponen. What stands out to you when you watch these Florida State hitters compared to 3 years ago?
It's a great question. I think more so it's just a mindset thing, a mental thing, pressing a little bit, having as much confidence. And just overall, you start to put more expectations on yourself, and you wait for somebody else to get out of it. One of those five, look for somebody else to kind of break the funk, and none of them really have.
3-2 for Morgan. And a fly ball. Pleasance is out. Stewart is in. And the left fielder cleans it up, coming from Sunshine to Shade.
And I think one of the biggest things with both of these offenses that we've seen here in Super Regionals is not having a good approach and a plan in a hitter's count. We've seen both teams have limited numbers of hitters counts that they found themselves in, hitting with leverage, and they've just not been able to do anything in those counts.
And a Shellnut. First pitch attack from Shellnut. It did seem like every time somebody was up 2-0 in the count yesterday, very quickly it was 2-2, and then that batter was out. Just 8 hits combined in the game, and Florida State's only run came on a sacrifice fly yesterday in the win. Closing in on 9 innings of 1-run baseball combined, 1-run softball in this series, as Shellnut takes a called second strike.
You can see Kilponen smiling a little bit because she got away with a mistake that was right down the middle of the plate. But this is what game one was like offensively for both teams. 0 for 9 combined with runners in scoring position. Not a lot of scoring going on last night.
That is inside for ball 1. I'm not certain this LSU crowd appreciates the slightly tighter strike zone this evening. I mean, I'll withhold judgment, but I don't think they're loving it so far. But it's been consistent from Alex Lee. Anna drives a 1-2 out to left. And Stewart will clean it up for a scoreless second inning. How about another pitcher's duel in Baton Rouge?
This is the party that every player wants to be at.
It's going to be passionate softball for sure.
Back to crown a national champion for the first time since 2019. They get to chase history here.
In less than a week, 6 days away, the Women's College World Series, noon Eastern next Thursday, 11 Central on ESPN. The World Series back at 100% capacity. So catch the action in person. Get tickets at ncaa.com/WCWS, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Florida State has a World Series title, 2018. UCLA, the defending champions, are on the brink of elimination after last night's loss to Virginia Tech. Oklahoma and Alabama up 1-0 in their series. In Florida, the two-time champs down 1-0 after an upset to Georgia earlier today.
So much to talk about this weekend during Super Regionals, but how about the way that Keely Rochard threw the ball last night for Virginia Tech? And you can maybe look from the outside in at that score and be like, wow, I'm really surprised to see Virginia Tech win 7-2 over UCLA. But if you've watched Keely Rochard throw, you know that she is capable of that type of win. And she just dominated in the circle, and their offense showed up big.
Has thrown every pitch of Virginia Tech's 4 NCAA tournament games, and they've pretty much all been good ones. Hokies trying to make it to the World Series as an unseeded team for the second time in program history. Taylor Tidwell, number 9 hitter. By the way, that Virginia Tech UCLA game following us tonight 9:30 Eastern.
I kind of feel like the Arizona-Arkansas Super Regional is the complete opposite of our Super Regional. That one with tons of home runs and scoring that I feel like is going to happen, and ours was just nonstop pitcher duel action.
Tidwell with a foul ball off the mask. Well, in a half inning, Arizona and Arkansas have already outscored what has been our Super Regional in 9 innings, with 2 runs and a home run from Mulipole in the first. Alex Lee, plate umpire, with a smile on his face. Good to see after the foul ball to the mask.
Everybody's checking on him, making sure that he's okay. What a big smile. Looks like he's fine.
I would not be smiling that much after a foul ball on the mask. Kalen Arnold's 0-2. And that's back into the screen from Tidwell. Plays a lot. 36 start at second base this year. Doesn't always bat. Just 10 for 62, 161, though a 354 on base percentage. A lot of walks, hit by a lot of pitches. And 6 of her 10 hits for extra bases. Off-speed pitch will get her here. Strikeout number 2 for Arnold, and let's go back to Chris Budden in the studio.
Back to the top of the order for the Tigers. Our batting center fielder, number 4, Aaliyah Andrews.
A bunt from Andrews. Sherrill erases her. Aaliyah Andrews can appreciate that defensive brilliance as Sydney Sherrill sweeps her away at first.
It's the game within the game. It's the matchup that we've been waiting for. The speed of Andrews against the defensive prowess of Sydney Sherrill. She is so quick. She is right on top of this bunt. Gets rid of it so fast. What a play by Sydney Sherrill. And just Kalen Arnold is loving it.
Seriously, how many third basemen in the country make that play against Aaliyah Andrews? I mean, can you count them on one hand?
Yeah, I need to make a list. And if we have game 3, I need to be prepared to come up with that list tomorrow. But not too many. She is so quick, and she's just not scared to get in your face.
Sierra Briggs now with 2 down. And Briggs will test the shortstop. Muffley, left side of the infield, aces. In a 1-2-3 third for Florida State, and both Muffley and Sherrill are going to bat in the bottom of the third.
This defense gives Florida State energy. Now, if they can take this defensive energy into their bats, and maybe there might be some runs scored. I don't know. It'd be crazy.
Welcome back to the NCAA Softball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Josie Muffley with an assist to end the top of the third will lead off for Florida State in the bottom of the third in a scoreless game. 3rd year playing college softball for Josie Muffley, who had a chance, Amanda, to be a college athlete in a different sport.
Yeah, she was a major hockey player all growing up. She told me that she started playing hockey when she was 2 years old. She played with the guys actually until she was 12, and she had all kinds of injuries. It's what makes her so tough out there in the field. But she told me she broke her back, dislocated her shoulder, broken fingers, concussions, you name it. She went through it. Got an offer from Syracuse actually and some other colleges to go and play in college, but she said, you know what, I was kind of tough on my body, hard decision to make. Stopped when she was 16, and here she is now.
She has started every game at shortstop for Florida State this year, and she still appreciates the finer points of contact sports because she's been hit by 15 pitches, one more than the rest of the Florida State team combined. A ground ball to second base here, and Muffley is erased by Kilponen and LSU.
Activating outfielder for the Seminoles, down batting left fielder, number 6, Kaylee Mudge.
So one time through the order. 2 hits for Florida State. 2 strikeouts for Allie Kilponen and Kaylee Mudge. Fly out to center in the first for Mudge. Had not started since February 27th until the regional round. Starting all 3 games, hitting leadoff, or the weekend before the regionals, beg your pardon, taking over for Kirsten Landers, who's been a little banged up. 37 games without starting, and here she is, freshman, batting leadoff of the Supers.
Had a good swing in her first at bat too. Fly ball to center field. Pretty good barrel on it.
Mudge waits back on this one, and that's a good looking swing into center.
On a hitter's count. And she was able to sit back on a changeup, but there's just such an advantage to hitting with leverage. Clearly, Kaylee Mudge was able to recognize this pitch, pick it up, just stay in her legs and barrel up this pitch right back up the middle with a smooth swing.
So do you hitters count as what, 2-1, 3-1, or 2-0?
2-0, yeah.
That's the first hit in such scenarios this weekend. Sydney Sherrill doubled on a 1-0 count in the first inning. 64th career double. And this one popped up. Andrews busting it in from center and now slowing for route number 2.
You can tell, Kevin, there's just been a couple of swings that Florida State has just missed some pitches. It sounds good off the bat, but they're just not quite on time, but it's hit. The pace of their bat, just something a little bit off, causing those pop-ups.
Kaylee Harding will try to solve Kilponen now. And a strike taken. What's Kilponen doing, do you think, to keep them off balance?
Been able to work both sides of the plate pretty well. I saw her throw a backdoor curveball to Harding there. She had struck out on a curveball opposite side of the plate in her first at bat. So being able to work both sides of the plate with her curve or go up and in like that. She's just keeping these hitters honest. She's not scared to go inside.
Third-year pitcher at LSU. Last year, the year was cut short, had a .58 ERA in 36 innings. 192 coming into the night. Harding pops it up. Mudge was on the move. And it's not going to matter now as Cummins holds in the third out. We'll hear from Beth Torina in this scoreless tie when we return to Baton Rouge. Welcome back to the NCAA Softball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Game 2, scoreless through 3. Now time to check in with Jalen Johnson.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm here with Coach Torina. Coach, you said yesterday and earlier this week that you have to sometimes talk Allie down a little bit because the emotions get too big. Is that something of the conversations that you guys have been having?
I think she looks great. I think she's doing a good job. I think she's, mixing her pitches around the zone. I think she's competing well for us. I think she's doing a great job.
And then you also have been talking about how much this team can want something so much and all the noise that has kind of been around the history of this matchup. Have you had to talk the team down at all today to get going into this?
Well, I think everybody's a little anxious this time of year. It's so exciting. I mean, look at this place. This park is incredible. There's so many people here. I think it's easy to get amped up. You just got to make sure we sync our training and just do our job. But I think our team will come around. It's eerily familiar to yesterday. Hopefully this will be our day.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Jalen, thank you. Beth Torina, 10 years at LSU, 4 trips to the World Series. Last was in 2017. Trying to get her team back to the World Series. And if she does so this year, it will be with the toughest schedule in the country by a wide margin. Florida State now the 8th super regional team out of 15 total, and Beth had to go all the way from the right field side to third base. Taking her time.
She's hustling and having extra time to get this crowd amped up. But Kevin, that schedule that they played was just historically tough, and it's made them learn how to fight, learn how to work through adversity, face some of the best pitchers in the country, and just play neck and neck with so many quality teams. It's made them stronger throughout the year.
It's something she didn't necessarily plan, but it turned into this kind of schedule because of the strains put on teams with COVID. She said Power 5 teams were more able to travel and to be adaptable during the year when other games were canceled, so it became kind of a monster. And the last time they had a schedule about this hard, they had a much older team. Bunch of kids that have never been through an SEC season on this team, including Pleasance, who won the SEC Newcomer of the Year. And she's 3-0 here to start the 4th against Kaylin Arnold. Young team that has really grown up. Faced Alabama in the non-conference, Texas, Oklahoma State. All the rigors of an extraordinarily deep SEC once again. And had to face a Louisiana team that's ranked in the top 25 last weekend. Faced them 3 times, won 2 to make it to Supers. Hitters count for Pleasance. And a ball just in front of Mudge, sitting in left field for a single. Taylor Pleasance is 2 for 2.
And they faced an elimination game in that regional that you mentioned against Louisiana last weekend whenever they had to play in that Game 7. And again, you can't recreate the pressure that you feel in an elimination game, just like they're facing tonight. But Beth Torina is 16-4 in elimination games in the NCAA tournament in the regional and super regional round.
And 3 out of 4 times in the World Series, they've made it after losing Game 1. Here's Doyle, big first pitch swinger of late. Last 3 at-bats, Doyle had come up with a runner in scoring position. All 3 times she put the first pitch in play, and all 3 times made it out. A strike taken here. Five for 8 start to the postseason for Amanda Doyle with 2 home runs. 0 for 11 since then. '62nd start of her brilliant career.
Kaylin Arnold just gives a little bit of smile to the dugout, and then instantly Shelnut after that pitch that was so close. It was a changeup right at the knees, but it just looked like it fell out of the bottom of the zone. She didn't get the call. Again, the strike zone's been a little bit tighter. She wanted this so bad, but it goes back to this connected Florida State defense that Shelnut noticed a little bit of like a difference in Arnold. She immediately goes out there to give her support.
The chemistry that Arnold and Shelnut have been working on for a couple of years now since Kaylin's transfer. Doyle pops it up into center field. Danny Morgan out number 1.
Another hitter's count, 2 and 1, gets her to fly out.
You think they're just trying to do too much to these teams?
Yeah, I think you can press a little bit in those moments and anticipate maybe a different pitch, but you still swing because it's a hitter's count. So you just get a little bit antsy, thinking that you're going to see something a little bit sweeter or that you're looking for. And it's interesting, a lot of missed opportunities in those counts.
Georgia Clark now. And Clark crushes one to left, down the line, fair and gone. An emphatic way to stomp LSU into the lead for the first time in the Super Regionals.
Coach Torina said if Georgia doesn't get hits, then we can't win earlier this season. They've been waiting for her to explode, keeping her right in the middle of the lineup, even when she was struggling, because they knew that she was capable of moments like this.
Her 10th of the season, 2nd of the postseason. Tiger Park has been waiting for that for 11 innings this weekend. And the Tigers, very good this season with a long ball, have their first runs of the Supers. Well, we were not here last week, and we watched on TV like all of you folks are doing right now. It sounded loud, but talking to folks that were here and hearing what we're hearing now, this may well be the loudest Tiger Park has been in a couple of years.
It is rocking. It's a Friday night. Everybody letting loose. Last night was still a weekday, and they know that it's an elimination game. This is a must-win situation for LSU.
After a visit from Melania Alameda, ball 2 to Raylene Gutierrez. Georgia Clark, so big in the elimination game Sunday, has now driven in 7 of LSU's last 9 RBIs. We asked Beth Torina about her. She said, I've left Georgia Clark in the 4 and 5 spots because we all know what she is. Never stopped hitting after a slow start. Just kept working, and finally the hits came into games.
Having a really good NCAA tournament with a couple of home runs and all those RBIs for this team.
8 RBIs on 6 hits, that'll play. That's offensive efficiency. That smoked foul by Gutierrez, still 2-2. Just feels like the bubble has been lifted over this stadium. And now the Noles find themselves in their first hold of the weekend. First time they've trailed since game 1 of the regionals to Kennesaw State. That was a 2-0 score as well. Florida State would score the next 6 there. But the competition up a couple of notches here.
Yeah, and with the way that Florida State has used Kaylin Arnold in the circle, she's only had 2 games this season that she's thrown 6 or more innings pitched. So if you're Kaylin Arnold, especially throughout the month of May, you're thinking, I need to give my team 4, maybe 5 quality innings, and then we're going to bring in Danielle Watson in relief.
That is caught on a line by Mason at first. Another smoked ball, but this one finds a glove.
This ball was crushed at Elizabeth Mason, and she's just in the right spot, playing just behind first base. Hit right at her. Bad luck in terms of LSU.
Well, we've seen a lot of what you said recently. You know, Sandercock has been Florida State's game 1 starter, and then some combination of Arnold to start, and then Watson, the Louisville transfer, in relief, often in these middle games for Florida State. Couldn't make it through 4 scoreless tonight, though. Sinceri on the first pitch fouls it away.
Well, and Taylor Pleasance is having such a good game. She's 2 for 2, was a leadoff hitter in this inning, got things going for LSU. Got to give her credit too, and not just the Georgia Clark home run for being on base.
Two strikes on Shelby Sinceri, starting pitcher yesterday, designated player tonight. Singled her first time. The pitch number 60 coming up for Arnold. He struck out 2, walked none, allowed 4 hits. And Sinceri reaches to get one and line it to third. We'll talk to Florida State's head coach Lonnie Alameda when we return. Lonnie's going to think that she's trailing for the first time in 4 days because of this swing from Georgia Clark.
Georgia Clark on the first pitch of her at bat, she goes up looking up in the zone and she elevates a 2-run homer for LSU.
Welcome back to Baton Rouge. 2-0 is your score with LSU up. I'm here with Coach Alameda. Coach, what did you say to Kaylin and your infield in that meeting after that home run?
Oh, I mean, I think we're swinging the bats well right now. I guess I stay in it pitch by pitch and get outs and get back in the dugout. And, you know, I mean, it's postseason. So one swing of the bat does some good things. So
Sydney continuing her outstanding play from yesterday. How much does she mean to this infield and to this team in general?
yeah, I mean, she's been defensively stellar all year long, leading it, but she's swinging the bat pretty good, confident. It's good to see, you know, we're pretty loose and having some fun here too. And, you know, a lot of ball game left, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Lonnie Alameda good at math and good at interviews. Always nice to chat with Florida State's head coach, who will head on down to her first base coach's position. So Beth Torina had to go from right field to third. Lonnie's going to have to go from left field to first. Give us a chance to put up a graphic. Thanks for that one, Lonnie. Is Lonnie not going to coach first right now?
I don't think so.
He's just going to give up? All right, tournament history, LSU, Florida State. 33rd appearance, 3rd time out of 4 postseasons that Florida State and LSU have met in the Super Regionals. 8 straight for Lonnie Alameda. And the Seminoles' last trip to the College World Series was their championship trip in 2018. A pop-up on the first pitch of the bottom of the 4th. Elizabeth Mason is out at first.
I think that national championship for Florida State was so big, of course, for their school because it was the first one that they had won, but also huge for the ACC. And you see the way that the ACC has competed in the NCAA tournament with Duke grabbing that 13 overall national seed, Virginia Tech also making it to Super Regionals, beating UCLA last night. Florida State won. ACC is just getting stronger as a conference.
Yeah, the additions of Duke and Clemson in the last 4 years. Duke in its 4th year of softball, Clemson in its 2nd. Lonnie Alameda doesn't like to take a lot of the credit for that, but in truth, certainly a lot has to go to her Florida State team for elevating the sport within the conference. Notre Dame so close to finally breaking through to get to the Super Regionals this year. Couldn't seal the deal, lost 2 games on Sunday to Kentucky, but that's a program that continues to succeed. 2 ACC teams standing now. Knowles are 1 as Davis sits down. A strikeout for Kilponen, her 3rd.
Davis got a single off of Kilponen. The at-bat before, back in the 2nd. This time Kilponen gets her on the curveball. Great movement off of the plate to get that swing and miss.
Well, the switcheroo has continued for LSU. Carrington Hushmanzadeh is in to play left. And if that name's familiar to you, she is the daughter of TJ, a longtime Bengals receiver. Georgia Clark back into the game to play first. So Gutierrez, for the time being, is out. It's 5 different players who've been in the outfield tonight for LSU.
Yeah, LSU has a lot of depth off the bench, specifically in the outfield, and so they're able to bring them in off the bench, plug them in defensively, or also try to get them in at bat if need be, if it's a better matchup. But they just really know how to use their roster to benefit them both defensively and offensively.
Up and into Flaherty. That hit her or the bat is the question. And it did hit the bat for a foul ball, strike 2.
Could hear it hit the knob of the bat.
That sound means either it hits the bat or it's a bone that you've never heard of before.
There are a lot of little ones in that area too.
I don't think any that make that sound, but who knows?
What I do know is that would really hurt if it hit your wrist or your hand and not the knob.
Yep, one of the last places you want to get hit. Squeezed in between the ball and the bat. Flaherty on the 6th pitch, a dribbler back to Kilponen, and boy has she been good. 4 scoreless for LSU's ace, and a 2-0 Tiger lead onto the 5th. Oklahoma's offense continues to crush opposing pitching, set records by the inning. A 4-2 win today, a measly 4 runs for the Sooners, but a home run from Jocelyn Hollow, her 29th. Moved her one away from the Oklahoma single-season record of Lauren Chamberlain. And the Sooners will look to advance to the World Series tomorrow afternoon. The first ever college softball game on ABC. Oklahoma and Washington, 3 Eastern, 2 Central on ABC tomorrow. Game 2 of the Super Regionals. Gabby Plain pitched well for Washington today. We'll see if she returns to the circle tomorrow. Oklahoma trying to become the first #1 seed to win the title in 6 years. Number 7 and 10 seeds here, LSU, Florida State, and a 2-0 lead for the Tigers, who have their backs to the wall. They need to win to force a Game 3. It would be tomorrow night. Same time, 7 Eastern, 6 Central on ESPN2.
Interested to see if Gabby Plain gets the ball again tomorrow. You think that she will?
I think so.
Elimination game.
Morgan Cummins off the fist to short. Muffley comes beelining in to make the catch. Other question is who gets the ball for Oklahoma, because today it was Nicole May who's been used as a relief ace most of the season. She went the distance, 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, no walks. Got the call over G. Juarez and over Shannon Sale, who've had some struggles of late.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe Sale tomorrow. You know what?
I don't know what.
Start. Maybe G will get this start. It's just so hard to guess with Oklahoma right now. It really is.
I mean, we didn't guess Olivia Raines was going to get the start in Game 3 last week, but she did.
But they're playing with the advantage, so be more comfortable. Washington going to be playing for their season.
Whoever gets the ball, you're going to see it on ABC. Really exciting moment for all of us in the softball world, and all of you. Oh, 0-2 on Taylor Tidwell, number 9 hitter. Strikeout looking for Tidwell, her first time. 2 strikeouts for Kaylin Arnold. No walks. The big hit, a first pitch, 2-run home run from Georgia Clark, an inning ago, scoring her and Taylor Pleasance.
I'm not seeing that Kaylin Arnold change up as much as I thought that we might. Surprised to see her not mixing that in a little bit more. And we'll see, we're showing a little bit of patience on it, but that's such a good pitch for her that helps set up her rise ball and her curveball.
Saw it there.
Good battle by Tidwell. Just find a way to get barrel on that pitch. Extend her at bat. It's not easy because Arnold takes about, between 13 and 15 miles an hour off of that changeup.
What's a good number?
About that, yeah.
What was yours?
Well, let's talk about my changeup in college, Kevin.
I'd love to.
Honestly, I threw more of like an off-speed drop ball. My changeup was not great, so that would be more around 8 to 10 miles an hour off of it, and I didn't throw it a ton. Pitch that I would have liked to have had in my repertoire more.
Yeah. If only. Maybe you could have been a 3-time All-American. Who knows? On a 1-2, Tidwell sends us to third, and a rare miscue for Sydney Sherrill. Only her 5th error of the season. So a base runner for LSU, and a check-in with Chris Budd in the studio for us. That game over on ESPNU. Still a Arizona lead, a little bit tighter now, 3-1.
You know, I think that Fayetteville and Baton Rouge should have a rock-off in terms of the fans and
You
how
think
loud.
so?
Like, that would be kind of cool because it's pretty loud here, too. But I bet it's just also really loud in Fayetteville.
Like at a concert where the singer goes to the left side of the audience, raises his arms, then goes to the right side.
Yeah, and you know there's a machine that will say how loud it's getting.
Right, which is always accurate. This one off the glove of Sherrill from Andrews. Muffley picks it up too late. All of a sudden, the corner is looking a little hot for Sydney Sherrill. 2-on for LSU in the 5th.
Yeah, Sherrill getting tested over there now, back-to-back plays, and these are the types of plays that we're used to seeing her make. Even though they're not easy, she's capable of making it. It hits off of her glove, and then actually Muffley with her leg or her foot keeps the ball on the infield, so it goes off of the glove. And then Muffley with her left foot kicks it back on the infield to where Taylor Tidwell has to stay at second base.
I didn't see that live. That's a pretty amazing play by Muffley. She didn't play goalie growing up in hockey, but a kick save and a beauty nonetheless. It is a base hit for Andrews. Aaliyah with her 2nd of the Super Regional.
And you know, Kevin, that Aaliyah Andrews is just pumped up about the fact that she beat Sydney Sherrill in that one.
Sherrill got her on a bunt last time. Andrews gets her this time. And Florida State will go to Danielle Watson. Kaylin Arnold's evening likely done. Starting pitchers can always re-enter, but 4 1/3. She is out of the game with 2 on, 1 out in the 5th. And Danielle Watson, another transfer, the former Louisville Cardinal, into the circle for Florida State.
Yeah, Danielle Watson throws the ball with good velocity. She'll make the glove pop because she'll throw upper 60s, sometimes hitting 70 miles an hour. Will work a fastball to spot it on both sides of the plate and also be able to work up in the zone with the rise ball that she'll take a little bit off of it.
Lonnie Alameda has loved the way she's thrown her outside rise more to right-handers, her low rise as well. Sierra Briggs hits a rise in the left here. Mudge in foul territory makes the play. 1 pitch for Watson. Her first out and the inning 2nd. Rally started with an error against Sherrill, moving Tidwell to 2nd. Andrews a hit behind her. Watson called on in relief. 2 scoreless games in the regionals, 4 2/3 innings of 2-hit ball. Saw the strikeout number. It is very high for Watson, 90 of them in 78 1/3. A lot of walks too, though. 1-0 for Taylor Pleasance.
Yeah, Coach Alameda talked to us about Danielle Watson and just her growth throughout this season and how she's a pitcher who loves to emotionally compete. She keeps bringing that word up when talking about Watson, but the biggest difference with Watson as she's gone through this year is that she's learned to pitch with emotion, not pitch emotional.
Right back to her. And the 5th inning over. Nice job by Watson out of the bullpen. Came on with 2 runners aboard, 1 out, and gets 2 outs in just a couple of pitches. Welcome back to the NCAA Softball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Our bottom quadrant of the bracket Florida State LSU. Winner of this series will go to the World Series, play the winner of Virginia Tech and UCLA coming up after our game, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN2. 7-2 Virginia Tech yesterday. Keely Rochard was great. UCLA committed 5 errors. Extraordinarily uncharacteristic for the Bruins. What do you expect in game 2?
Expect Keely Rochard to get the ball again, and expect UCLA to come out a little differently. I think that they're going to be highly motivated to prove that the UCLA that we saw that committed a bunch of errors and gave up a bunch of runs and didn't get a base runner on against Keely Rochard until later in the game was just not their type of ball.
Virginia Tech trying to be the first of maybe 2 ACC teams to the World Series. Florida State hoping to join them. And let's check in with Jalen.
Thanks, Kevin. Coach Alameda and the Seminoles have been living by this decision, not a sacrifice mentality all year, taking those so-called negatives, turning them into positives. And Danny Morgan was one of those super seniors that took that from the beginning, and she actually deferred her acceptance into grad school to South Carolina to the fall of 2021. Cassidy Davis, another one, she was actually headed to PT school and turned it down to play another year.
These super seniors, Jalen, getting that extra year of eligibility. Spring sport relief from the NCAA. Morgan will fly out here, and another update on Arizona, Arkansas. The ball's flying out in Fayetteville, Chris Budden.
Next up for the Seminoles, catcher number 13, Aaron Shambat.
Chris, Jen, been a rocky start to the Supers for the Pac-12. Washington a game down, UCLA a game down, but a good showing for a very deep Arizona lineup so far in Arkansas. Razorbacks trying to make it to the World Series for the first time. Arizona lives in Oklahoma City this time of year. Batter is Anna Shelnut, 2-0 to the number 8 hitter for Florida State. 70 pitches for Allie Kilponen. It's allowed just 3 hits, only struck out 2, has not walked a batter. Great strike to ball ratio.
Yeah, she's like so strong in her outing tonight, and it's just crazy to think how she told us that she never even really had pitching lessons growing up. Her dad was the one who taught her how to pitch, would watch a ton of videos online, and Jenny Finch was her idol, and she would just try to mimic the way that she saw pitchers pitch on TV and online and just try to be like them, but she didn't really have great mechanics, didn't have perfect spin. To when she got here to LSU, it was Beth Torina who just spent so much time with her in the bullpen, and she said, she taught me how to be a pitcher. Made a ton of adjustments to where she kind of struggled a little bit her freshman year because she had shaky confidence and she was changing a lot. But now she's settled into those mechanics, settled into her spin, and not only is she able to spin it, but she throws with good velocity too.
68 with some spin right there to get Shelnut. Another strikeout for Kilponen, her 4th.
She's been living on this curveball, especially when she gets 2 strikes against the righties. Getting them to chase this pitch off the plate has late break. That pitch is so hard to know as a hitter that it's going to continue to break out of the zone.
Kilponen has retired 7 straight. And a strike framed beautifully by Cummins over to the 9-hitter Muffley. Beth Torina told us when Allie came here, I told our staff, this is going to take a little while, but it's going to be really good when it works out. It's working out tonight.
And what's funny too that Allie told us is that her dad didn't want to pay for pitching lessons until he knew that she was going to be serious, and she was so committed to being a pitcher, just wanting to imitate all those pitchers that she watched in college. And I know a lot of young girls listening can feel the same way, probably trying to imitate her now during this game.
Parents Keith and Angie, a pretty fun night, I suspect, for them, but a pretty fun year for them. his third-year sophomore. LSU really able to use the extra year to her benefit. 1-2. On the ground to second and Tidwell. And that throw gets away. Muffley thought about a dash to second base. She will hold it first. So Tidwell reached in an error at the top of the fifth. And this time she commits one on Florida State's 9-hitter.
That's why it's just so important as a hitter with 2 strikes to put the ball in play, because you never know what could happen. Tidwell, I think, had a little bit more time than what she thought to have made a better throw, but nonetheless, here comes the top of the order for FSU.
Sydney Sherrill looming on deck. Kaylee Mudge, and that will be that. Have a night, Allie Kilponen. 5 scoreless innings, and the Tigers 6 outs away from Game 3. A 1-0 win for Florida State yesterday, a 2-0 lead for LSU tonight, trying to force a Game 3 tomorrow. Georgia Clark with a 2-run home run. The only runs of the game on that swing in the 4th after one of 2 hits from Taylor Pleasance. Allie Kilponen tremendous for LSU. Florida State hitless with runners on base in the game. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough, Jalen Johnson, and our entire ESPN crew. Too many talented folks to name with us in Baton Rouge this week, and we've had a lot of fun covering this Super Regionals. LSU is going to force a Game 3 if they hang on to this lead with 6 outs to go. Florida State trying to win it tonight. Last time the Tigers were in the World Series, 2017. Seminoles' last trip, their national title winning year of 2018. And to get there, these teams had to get through each other. Danielle Watson to Amanda Doyle. And this will get out of play onto the LSU dugout. Amanda Doyle 0 for 5 in this Super Regional. Seen just 9 pitches in her first 5 at-bats. Second worst on-base percentage of her career, but second best slugging percentage of her career.
A player who you know that Beth Terrain and the coaching staff here have so much belief and faith in, with the way that she's worked so hard her entire career here at LSU, has played so many games, so many big moments that she's been a part of.
Sherrill will get another test, and this one's made. Our Capital One rewarding performance. It goes to Georgia Clark.
Georgia Clark, the first pitch of her at bat, sent one out of here, and then the big stomp on the plate. That's kind of becoming a Georgia Clark trademark thing. It's the only runs that we've seen in this game was off of her bat.
Started the year just 7 for 50. Since that mark, hitting .289, and that's a .289 that needs some context. A lot of walks, a lot of power in that span. 2 home runs in the postseason. Sophomore from Houston, Texas, coming into her own late in the year. This one muscled into center field, an inside pitch that finds the green grass, and a 1-out single for Clark.
Yeah, she does. She gets jammed, but she still swings hard and is able to just find enough power to lift this ball over Josie Muffley's head and into center field.
Love her leg kick, too. You mentioned the stomp on the plate. It seems like she stomps the ground every time she swings. She's going to come out of the game. LSU will pinch run. Taryn Antoine in to run. When LSU switched around in the second to the switcheroo, Clark became the designated player, so she can still re-enter. It can get a little confusing with the outfield switcheroo, but this is the first time she's been removed from the game. Gutierrez with a fly ball to center. I think there might be something else going on in the Arizona-Arkansas game. Let's check in with Chris.
Next up for the Tigers, designated player number 27, Shelby Sinceri.
Has Jen told you to say anything, Chris? Jen told you not to say no-hitter, and look at where that got you, jinxing a no-hitter in Columbia last weekend, which is not a real thing because Missouri threw a no-hitter the very next day, and I'm sure somebody said no-hitter. I think Jess Mendoza was beating the no-hitter drum. Shelby Sinceri, 1-1 from Watson. Three Pac-12 teams, one of them coming up next, UCLA, trying to stave off elimination at home against Virginia Tech. Wondering who the Bruins will throw in that game. Rachel Garcia started yesterday, the first loss of the year. UCLA was down 5-0. We thought maybe they would just turn to another pitcher. Instead, Megan Faremo did throw a little bit, not much. You think maybe Faremo will get the start tonight, but we'll see.
Just so hard for me to hear that, and that says nothing against Faremo, but it's so hard to imagine Rachel Garcia not getting the ball in an elimination game with her career on the line and just what she's done at UCLA, two-time National Player of the Year. How would you not? That goes to show how good their 1-2 pitching punch is if they choose not to, right? How good that Megan Faremo has been. Last year when she pitched without Rachel Garcia on the team, she was able to step up, become their ace.
Well, Florida State in the last postseason did not make the World Series, so they become the most recent defending champion not to make it. UCLA does not want to join this list for a third time. 3-2 for Sinceri.
You know, it just doesn't seem that LSU has felt any pressure of an elimination game. That just goes back to they're more comfortable later in the series. Game one, they have struggled in 3-game series.
Watson to first. Good work out of the bullpen for Watson. Some big bats coming up for the Noles. Down 2 in the 6th. Well, since the Super Regionals began in 2005, the home teams won a little more than 3/4 of the time. The Game 1 winner even more predictive, though, and Florida State was the Game 1 winner in this series. But remember, 2017, Florida State won Game 1 in the Supers. LSU won the next 2. 2018, LSU won Game 1. Florida State the next 2. And Bet Arena's LSU Tigers thrive in these moments. In the regionals and the super regionals, Bet Arena's LSU teams are 16-4 in elimination games. 1-0 in this postseason with a Game 7 win over Louisiana last Sunday. And 6 outs away from an elimination game win tonight that would set up an elimination game on both sides. Game 3, oh so close if the Tigers can get 6 outs without surrendering 2 runs. This is the big one. Cheryl Harding Mason, 2-3-4 in the Florida State lineup against Kilponen. And Allie pours in a strike to Sydney Cheryl, 1-1.
Sydney Cheryl has been so good leading off innings too, hitting over 500 on the season when she leads off. Been a good tone setter, inning setter. Whenever her teams need her the most.
529 leading off innings, including in the 6th yesterday. Was that 6th inning single yesterday that started the rally for the only run of the night. Kaylee Harding moved her to 3rd with a single, and then 2 batters later, a Cassidy Davis sacrifice fly scored Cheryl. Double and a flyout for Sid Sherrill tonight. Kilponen with 4 strikeouts through 5 and a 1-2 count.
It's a veteran take right there. Kilponen tries to go with her curveball inside corner. Sherrill's able to read that it's going to move off the plate.
Let's check in with Jalen.
Thanks, Kev. During that break, FSU's dugout turning around to their fans, trying to get them into this game. As you guys can probably see, hopefully can see, they have their rally visors on right now. So trying to do anything. I don't know if they did the scratch and run, but I do know that they were trying to get their fans into it to try to get some runs on the board.
Have we found out who the frog is tonight? That's the big question.
The frog tonight is Phoebe. So that's what I know.
That was Benjamin yesterday?
Benjamin yesterday. Benjamin has the most wins.
I don't know why they don't just pull out Benjamin every time.
Well, Geraldine has the best winning percentage, though. So, yeah, it's kind of touchy.
You got to freeze Geraldine like the frozen envelope. You pick the frogs at random. 3-2 to Sherrill is outside. And Florida State, with nobody out, is going to bring the tying run to the plate.
What a great at-bat by Sydney Sherrill. It's her job to find a way to get on base in this situation. Last thing that Kilponen wanted to do was walk the lead off and give Florida State a little bit of energy and momentum their way.
It was the 6th inning yesterday when Sherrill reached first and Harding singled her to third. And Kaylee with a first pitch attack here and strike 1.
And been jamming her up a little bit, working her on the inside corner in last night's game and also in tonight's game, trying to keep it in on her hands and not let her get extended.
Florida State has 1 hit in the series with a runner on. It came from this player, Harding. LSU has made some defensive changes again. Taryn Antoine came into the game as a pinch runner. She's in right field. Sierra Briggs has moved from right back to left. Raylene Gutierrez in at first. Check swing. And Harding, a fair ball. She is thrown out. Didn't realize it was fair at first. It moves Sherrill to second with 1 away.
It was like a check swing bunt. Just accidentally made contact with this pitch. Ends up being right near home plate. I mean, this ball is barely fair.
Stuck in the batter's box, and Elizabeth Mason takes a strike. Mason hitless in the Super Regional, 0 for 5.
You know, Kevin, I feel like why Allie Kilponen has been so successful, especially against the right-handed hitters, is how she's been able to work hard in on their hands and then been able to move her curveball away. Like that, she's just not scared to go inside and live on that inside corner and jam these Florida State hitters up.
How many times have you seen her miss over the plate when she's tried to go in?
Not a lot, if at all.
And she goes back outside now, and Mason takes ball 2.
And she'll give a couple of different looks on that inside corner. She can bring her back to her curveball and just catch the plate where it breaks back over the inside corner. She can bring a rise ball a little bit lower through the zone and then expand the zone too.
So you're saying there are a lot of options Mason might be thinking about now. 2-2.
That was a miss. Asked if there's been any mistakes, and this might have been one of them. Look where this pitch is located. That's a mistake. And those are the ones that you have to capitalize on because you're not going to get very many, especially when you're a hitter like Elizabeth Mason.
Did she swing like she was looking somewhere else to you?
Just didn't seem sure of herself to me, yeah.
Thought about going.
Maybe you're surprised to be getting a pitch right down the middle in a 2-2 count.
Sure. Kind of figure Kilponen will dot a corner as she's done all night. But now a 3-2 count, her second full count of the inning. Walks Sherrill to start it. And gets Mason to foul away one here.
I think she's got to go to her curveball in the outside corner here. Mason, I think, is just going to be thinking inside, up and in on her hands. Wouldn't be surprised to see her go just off the plate. Curveball outside.
8th pitch coming on 3-2. Grounded through the box and a base hit, Mason. Florida State delivers in the 6th inning again. Sherrill scores. Mason drives her in, and the Seminoles are within a run.
She went inside, and this is why I was thinking outside corner. Go to the curve on the other side of the plate because she had been staying inside too long, and Mason is finally able to get her barrel to an up and in pitch and drive it right back up the middle. Here are the veterans. Mason scoring Sherrill for the first run of the game for Florida State.
That's around 400 games of Florida State experience combining there, and 2 World Series winners. Now another one in Cassidy Davis representing the go-ahead run. Davis had the only RBI of the game yesterday in the 6th inning. A sacrifice fly to score Sherrill.
This is when that walk really pays off. It was the first walk that Kilponen had issued in this game, and Sydney Sherrill able to come around and score. And why Sherrill is so good leading off innings. She just makes things happen for this FSU team.
Took some really close pitches too.
Yes.
Pitch number 100 of the night. And a 2-0 is in there for strike 1 to Cassidy Davis. 3 for 5 in the regional round for Davis. Couple of homers, walked 3 times. 32 home runs in her Florida State career. And a big cut and a miss. 2-2. Back to Kilponen. She'll go to second for 1. Pleasance to first. Double play.
Just when Kilponen needed her defense the most, she's able to start a double play, but look at how it ends. Raylene Gutierrez with the stretch in the pick to finish it off.
The NCAA Softball Super Regionals is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
1 inning to go, game 2 here in Baton Rouge. Raylene Gutierrez with one heck of a pick, an inning-ending double play in the 6th. LSU trying to turn around their fortunes as they've done so frequently this year. Game 2 of a series, 3-8 in game 1 of their 3-game series this year, including last night. 7-3 in game 2, 7-3 in game 3. 5 times out of 7 after losing game 1, they've turned around to win the series. Got a pinch hitter here, Danica Coffey batting for Morgan Cummins. Danielle Watson, a ball and a strike to her. There's just something about these middle games where the Tigers have turned it around all year long. Beth Torina's tried to figure it out. Her best hypothesis, and we've talked with her a couple of times about this, is that she thinks her team just presses a little bit in game one. They're over-prepared. They overswing sometimes, a little more mechanical. She feels like they get freer, this young group, as the weekends go on.
And that they want it so bad, which I think that a lot of softball players and just college athletes can relate to. You know that you only have 4 years. You want to make the most out of every at-bat, out of every game, out of every inning.
Coffey to short. Muffley's got to hurry and got her at first. Let's check in once again with Chris and Jen.
Pitch hitting for the Tigers, number 44, Allie Newman.
Wow, did not expect that to be a potential run rule situation, gang, but Arizona looking like the team a lot of folks thought they would be this season. It's a little silly to say, well, they've underachieved. They got the 11th seed, but this is a team that was in the top 2, top 3 early in the year, and maybe finally that lineup and that pitching staff are coming together.
And they have those seniors. Palomino Cardoza, Molipola, Harper, Caranco just leaned away.
Allie Newland pinch hitter here, 2-0 against Watson. Winner of that series plays the winner of the Kentucky-Alabama series. Alabama up 1-0 in Oklahoma City. Winner of this series gets the winner of Virginia Tech, UCLA. Whole lot of different permutations possible in OKC next Thursday. 6 days away from the World Series.
I'm sure these two teams are looking at that score and being like, hey, Arizona, want to share a few runs over here in Baton Rouge? Spread the love a little bit?
Oh, we've had 4 runs now in almost 2 full games. Arizona's got 10 in 6 innings. What, they scored 12 on Sunday in their final game, Arizona? I think they were down 6-0 to Ole Miss in that game. Came back, scored a dozen. Leah Andrews on deck. Watson to the pinch hitter, Newland. Swing and a miss. Watson's rise ball picks up Florida State's first strikeout since the 3rd.
Back to the top for the Tigers. Center fielder, number 4,
In the bottom of the 7th, Florida State will have Flaherty, Morgan, and Shelnut 6, 7, 8. Reminder, because LSU was the home team yesterday, Florida State is the home team in this game. Even though the game is at Tiger Park, the Super Regionals will switch. The team that plays the games in its stadium is home in Game 1 and a potential Game 3. Andrews high into left field, sending Mudge back and sending us to the bottom of the 7th. The first team All-ACC pick, Devin Flaherty, will lead it off against Allie Kilponen when we return to Baton Rouge. Third time in 4 postseasons, Florida State and LSU have met in the Super Regionals. Both times the Game 1 winner has been the series loser. It was Florida State with a Game 1 win yesterday, and LSU with a Game 2 lead tonight with 3 outs to get. Seminoles get 2. They're going to the World Series. Seminoles get 1. We're going to the 8th. Seminoles get none, and we're going to Game 3. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 against Allie Kilponen. Devin Flaherty to start it. UCLA, Virginia Tech, Game 2 coming up. All 8 Super Regionals in action, maybe for the only time. Kilponen and Flaherty. Here we go. First pitch swinging, and Flaherty fouls it away.
You know, Kevin, it's so hard to play on the road in super regionals, and it's why you work extremely hard as a team to grab one of those top 8 seeds, because you know that you'll be able to host regionals and supers if you make it there. And it all goes back to that tough schedule that LSU put together. Going into Selection Sunday, Coach Torina had no idea if they were going to be able to grab a top 8 seed, but they did. They got the 7 because of that #1 strength of schedule that they played. Even though they had 20 losses, they're still able to host supers, and it's going to pay off, looks like.
Double the amount of Florida State's losses, but Florida State took a couple of losses late in ACC play, not the same caliber of schedule. LSU the host site, though Florida State the home team in game 2. 2-1. 2-2 for Devin Flaherty.
And there's still a chance for Florida State, no doubt. You still have 3 outs, and anything can happen in the postseason, but you just live for this home field advantage with all of these fans fighting for you and being on your side and wearing your same colors.
Flaherty, a ground ball that sneaks over Kilponen's mitt. And the Seminoles have a leadoff hitter on. A single from Flaherty in the 7th. And Florida State will bring the game-winning run to the plate with no one out. Flaherty saw 20 pitches in her 3 at-bats tonight. In a hitter's count all 3 times, and finally delivers. Danny Morgan now, another first pitch swing and another first pitch foul ball. Morgan historically has some home run power. 2 years ago hit 14. This year only 2. Came in the same game at Syracuse on April 18th. And for some folks wondering, with their brand of small ball, why isn't Florida State bunting? You look at who's coming up. Shellnut 8, Muffley 9 have been struggling a little bit comparably. So Lonnie Alameda is going to let Danny Morgan, her 5th-year senior, swing away. A ground ball to short. Pleasance, couldn't get it out of her glove. LSU turned 2 to end the 6th. They turn none here, and it's 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
I thought this was going to be a tailor-made double play. Taylor Pleasance at shortstop, Taylor Tidwell at 2nd. And she just hesitated because Taylor Tidwell wasn't there. It wasn't that she couldn't get it out of her glove. Taylor Tidwell was late to getting to the bag because of the hustle by Devin Flaherty, who has wheels to be able to get to second base. That was speed that caused that decision.
A fielder's choice, no error, but certainly an errant moment between the middle infielders, Pleasance and Tidwell.
And it's such a good job, too, by Danny Morgan to find a way to put the ball on the ground and not put the ball in the air where you can't have a productive out. You can't put pressure on the defense. Flaherty, so much hustle on that play to be able to beat out that force at 2.
All right, now you have the 9 spot coming up in Muffley. Shellnut, the 8 hitter. Do you bunt?
I would say no.
Lonnie Alameda says yes. Shellnut lays it down. Fair ball. Throw is in time to first. Cummins decided to pick it, got rid of it just in time. But Florida State moves the game-winning runs into scoring position with 1 out.
She's tough to bunt against, Kilponen is, because she lives with upspin up in the zone, which causes a lot of balls to pop up. And the way that Shellnut was able to move around getting hit by that ball in the air was so important in this game. She was able to officially advance the runners extra 60 feet.
The number 9 hitter, Josie Muffley, will bat. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Off the glove of Cummins. Here comes Flaherty. We're tied. Oh, my. And now Florida State is 60 feet away from winning it.
Flaherty gets such a good jump, immediately seeing it off of Cummins' glove, and is able to, again, get her speed to advance and score.
Her first pass ball of the year. One and 0 to Muffley. Muffley lays down a squeeze bunt. Play at the plate. Out! Gutierrez on time to Cummins to keep LSU's season alive.
This is exactly how Florida State has been trying to manufacture runs all year without their power. Muffley up to bat, it's a squeeze. Morgan was going on the pitch, Muffley laid it down, but look at that toss by Gutierrez. She just got rid of it. It wasn't textbook, it wasn't mechanical. All she had to do was get rid of the ball with Cummins with the tag. And that's a situation that could have gone really bad for LSU after the pass ball. Everybody could have been tight and not prepared, and they're able to come through with the out. The question is, was there obstruction? I think actually it was clear there. Fantastic play by the LSU defense.
Yeah, I think Cummins is just playing the ball there. Lonnie Alameda asked Alex Leap about it. The umpires don't huddle together, so the call will stand. Kaylee Mudge now. You know what? This softball game deserves another inning. At least. Florida State ties it. LSU escapes the 7th. Let's play 8. Well, what a 7th inning it was for Florida State. With a runner at first base, a missed communication between Pleasance and Tidwell on a ground ball. Could have been 2. Sack bunt, then a pass ball. Devin Flaherty ties it. And then this play at the plate, Josie Muffley trying to win it with a squeeze bunt. And Danny Morgan out on the flip from Gutierrez to Cummins.
I think the question is going to be, Kevin, if that indeed was obstruction. I think that it's going to be the talk probably with the way that has been called the entire year, but the call goes LSU's way, and they are able to keep Florida State from the game-winning run and stopping the squeeze.
Now, my thought was good call. Our Jen Schroeder back in the studio, catching expert, she's saying she thinks it was obstruction. Worth revisiting the rule. Ball 1 to Sierra Briggs. If a defensive player impedes the progress of any runner legally running bases on a live ball, it can be intentional or unintentional. If a defensive player is blocking the whole base or base path without the ball, and the runner does not have a clear path to the base. So, that's the rule. And again, you be the judge. Let's look at this one more time.
Checking out Morgan Cummins' face. See, I don't think that's obstruction. I don't think she has the ball and then she goes down to block.
I mean, I guess the argument would be if she doesn't give her a clear path because she plants the left foot there. Briggs pops it up. Muffley and Sherrill there. Muffley will make the call and the catch.
I will say my biggest takeaway from that entire inning is the fact that LSU did not look good on defense with the miscommunication at second and then the pass ball. They easily could have let that squeeze eat them up, but the way that Gutierrez was able to read the hands, read the bunt, and make a shovel pass to Cummins was just such a good play.
And Gutierrez, who did not start the game at first, has had a couple of brilliant moments at the base.
Yeah.
Started the game in right, came into play first, was inserted out of the game defensively, then came back into play first. And she's made, on a stretch and a double play and on the flip there, 2 of the biggest defensive plays of LSU's season. Taylor Pleasance 2 for 3.
you see, too, how important it is to be home in this game. Florida State had not only the opportunity to tie it, but the opportunity to win the game because they're the home team, even though they're on the road.
Going to be 2, 3, and 4 for Florida State in the bottom of this inning, but it is the 3 and 4 hitters right now for LSU. Pleasance with a ringing double in the first. LSU's home run leader in a 2-0 count. And drives one the other way, Mudge at the wall. LSU has the lead.
Pleasance crowds the plate so that she can look for that outside pitch because that's where almost every pitcher is going to try to throw her. It was even a little bit off the plate, and she got enough of it. She barreled up enough of it to barely send it over the left field wall. And finally, a hitter steps up on a 2-0 count and makes a pitcher pay.
Amanda Doyle sends it just foul. The 13th home run of Taylor Pleasant's second season at LSU. A first-team All-SEC pick. Alex Sleep chatting with one of the LSU coaches. And play will go on with an 0-1 count. Cheryl and Muffley there again, and this is Cheryl's ball.
Major props to LSU and Pleasance for answering back, too. I mean, you could just be shaken up a little bit, especially after that miscue on defense by Taylor Pleasance. And then, of course, isn't that how it always works out? Of course, she has a bat in her hand whenever offense comes up for LSU, and she's able to get that big swing.
And if this score holds, the folks in Tallahassee are going to be thinking about that play at the plate in the bottom of the 7th, whether it was obstruction or not. Never want the game to be decided or not decided on a call or a non-call by an umpire, but right now, one way or another, it's a major part of the story. Strike one to Clark. She drove in the first 2 with a home run back in the 4th. Thinking about these LSU seniors, notably Amanda Doyle and Aaliyah Andrews, who were probably feeling pretty hopeless in the field on that play in the plate, knowing that their careers might have been over on a squeeze bunt. Watson, strutting her way to the dugout, thought she had strike 3 and did not in the estimation of Alex Sleep.
Looks close. We're a little bit at an angle here, but I would have wanted it.
to right from Clark. Harding on the run. Over her glove. Kaylee plays it well off the wall, though. And she'll hold Clark to a 2-out single.
Pleasance and Clark have stepped up so big in this game to be able to spark and ignite the offense for LSU. Multiple hits for Clark, multiple hits for Pleasance, both of them having home runs in this game. Clark is able to stay on a curveball and just drive it the opposite way. You can tell she's seeing the ball so big right now. Good job by FSU to quickly get the ball in and keep her at first.
And Lonnie Alameda brings her infield and her pitcher together.
Combined, Pleasance and Clark are 6 for 8 in this game with 2 home runs.
6 of LSU's 8 hits from those 2. The winner of this Super Regional against the winner of Virginia Tech and UCLA, which is just a few minutes from first pitch. That game obviously does not look like it's going to start here on ESPN2. Going to start somewhere. Raylene Gutierrez, who is maybe the defensive hero of the game right now with the field and flip on the Muffley squeeze bunt. A chance to add to the lead at the plate. Gutierrez right back to Watson. Look what I found. It'll be Cheryl, Harding, and Mason for Florida State, which is down a run because of this swing from Taylor Pleasance.
They answer back. Taylor Pleasance answers back with a big punch. We're in extras, elimination game for LSU. This is so fun.
A lot more exciting softball to come tonight, Chris. Looking forward to that one. We'll see if this game ends in 8. LSU's got the lead 3-2. Bottom of the 7th. Let's go back to it. This is a play that could have won Florida State the game. A squeeze bunt from Josie Muffley. The question, was there obstruction from the catcher Cummins?
Well, and right there you can see that the back of the base is opened up for even before Cummins gets the ball, to where I think that was a good no call, that they didn't call obstruction. She wasn't blocking the entire base. She got the ball and then blocked it after she received the ball.
Sydney Sherrill starts the bottom of the 8th with a fly out to center. And what a monumental out that is to get Sherrill, who is so good and even better leading off innings. One pitch fly out for Allie Kilponen. You know, there are some folks that are reasonably going to say that by the way the rule is written, that's obstruction. Personally, I'm glad the game didn't end on that. Maybe we need to change the wording of the rule. But we move on now. You're seeing it in a different way if you're wearing garnet and gold or purple and gold. And if you're wearing purple and gold, you're 1 out away from game 3 as Harding pops out. Allie Kilponen 1 out away. Elizabeth Mason takes strike 1. Mason drove in Florida State's first run in the 6th. One and one.
I think too, this is still a time that you don't feel comfortable if you're LSU, knowing that Elizabeth Mason is a player for FSU that has just stepped up so big in the postseason. And at any time, Kevin, I mean, they're just 1 run down, and a player like Mason or Davis, who's on deck, if Mason were to reach with 1 swing, could tie up the game.
Clark back in the game at first, by the way. Gutierrez back into right. Pitch number 120 coming. Kilponen to Mason. And a fly ball hit out to left. Back at the wall. This game is tied. Down to their final out. The Seminoles strike with Elizabeth Mason. Her 30th career home run, and maybe none bigger.
I told you, this is why you cannot feel comfortable against this team. Down to 1 out. And Elizabeth Mason knew it off the bat. This swing ties up the game. What an unbelievable moment in the 2021 Super Regional and for this FSU team.
Now Cassidy Davis, who can win it. The third meeting in 4 postseasons between LSU and Florida State, and somehow they just keep topping themselves. String and a miss, strike 1 to Davis.
Are you sure it tops the 2018 one that you called, though? I don't know.
Close. The 13th home run allowed by Kilponen in 140 innings this year. 1-2 for Davis.
Well, I guess here's that offense that we were lacking before, just saving it all until the end.
It's a slow play. Just sandbagging us for 54 games. One and two for Davis. And that's right there for strike 3. The ball dropped. Cummins waited a long time there and finally threw out Cassidy Davis. This game is so good it deserved an 8th inning, and it's so good it deserves a 9th. Elizabeth Mason, in the twilight of Game 2, sends this to the 9th. Elizabeth Mason has played now 201 games at Florida State. A whole lot of those have been in the postseason. She was big on the run to the 2018 championship, and this home run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th has taken this game into inning number 9.
Allie Kilponen was throwing to her strength, up and in to a right-handed hitter, to Mason, and Mason said, not this time. And what I love is that both the home runs by Pleasance and by Mason have been on hitters' counts, finally hitters coming through.
The first 20 half innings of this Super Regional brought home 1 run. The next 10 have compelled 6, which I know to fans of Arizona and Arkansas might not seem like a lot, but to us, this is a veritable feast, a cornucopia of offense late in the game. LSU needing to win to keep their season alive. Florida State 1 win from the World Series. We're going to the 9th. That's Amanda. I'm Kevin. Jalen Johnson is with us. I mean, I hope you're having fun, folks. If you're rooting for one team in this game, you've probably sweated through a couple of shirts by now. But if, like us, you have no vested interest, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Danielle Watson to Shelby Sinceri. LSU's 7-hitter, and a pitch over the glove of Shelnut to start in the 9th. Sinceri with a single back in the 2nd. Line out, ground out since. Another hitter with some pop. If you're just joining us, if you're just checking into the softball world, there is no bonus runner in extra innings. Nobody starts at second. No gimmicks. You play on. Last time these teams went into extras in the postseason 3 years ago, Game 2. Florida State needed to win to keep their season alive. They won 8-5 and 11. Jesse Warren had a big home run. Florida State would win the series. And then they'd win the World Series championship. Trying to get back to the World Series with a win tonight. LSU trying to force Game 3 tomorrow. 4-pitch walk to Sinceri. And LSU will put the lead runner aboard in the ninth.
Shelby Sinceri been so good. The high on base percentage, 32 walks now on the season, which leads the team. Finding a way to get on base, exactly what she needed to do in this situation.
LSU's first walk of the game. Sinceri was once removed for a pinch runner way back in the second, so she cannot exit the game again without exiting for good. So she will run for herself. Batter is Cummins, who blasts one foul. Morgan Cummins trying to atone for that key passed ball in the bottom of the seventh. She did block the plate and get the runner Morgan at home on the squeeze bunt from Muffley. We have heard from some clued-in folks who say that is not obstruction. It's a call that, again, looms large over this game. And at this point, we're one inning further away from remembering it. But if LSU wins, some people may remember it. 2-1 for Cummins.
Yeah, it seems like Danielle Watson is just pitching a little bit tight all of a sudden here in the top of the ninth.
An intra-conference transfer from Louisville. Has not been on a big stage like this before, quite like this in Florida State colors. She gets Cummins to pop up. Mason underneath it for the first out of the ninth inning.
The tough part, too, about walking Shelby Sinceri to lead off this inning is that you want to go into this inning and think, all right, have to face 7, 8, 9. But now you have the potential to face the leadoff of Andrews in this inning.
Well, unless you get a double play, Aaliyah Andrews is going to get her chance. Florida State does turn a lot of double plays, but if you don't, that's who's next. Tidwell 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, reached on an error, takes ball one. What are you seeing right now from Watson?
Just some wildness. Don't think that she's trusting her stuff at all. You're seeing Anna Shellnut have to work really hard back behind the plate and be really reactive right now because she's just not hitting her spots. Even in that, it looked like Shellnut set up on the outside corner. That pitch bled back over and caught the inside corner.
Yeah, the glove is moving a lot more than it was early behind the plate. Great framer, Anna Shellnut. Started every game but one this season at catcher for Florida State. Got the target there for an outside corner strike.
Definitely such a difference in that pitch versus almost any other pitch that she's thrown in this inning.
Watson wants Slani Alameda to go through the signs again. Has one she likes. And a 1-2 just misses. 2-2 for the 9-hitter Tidwell with Andrews looming. What are you thinking here if you're Florida State? Where do you go to?
Try the off-speed rise ball that she can throw. It just doesn't seem like her ball is moving a whole lot, but And I don't think she's just trusting it. A little tight, throwing through her spin a bit. You can see it on Florida State's faces a little bit here at the end of the game. And even though they've been able to tie it back up and move to extra innings, you've just seen it on some of their faces of just kind of worry, concern, playing not to lose instead of playing to win.
All right, let's check in with Chris while we have a minute. Thank you, Chris. Here's a pop-up from Tidwell, and Mason is there in foul ground. So Watson is 1 out away from escaping the inning after a leadoff walk.
Back to the top for LSU.
Going to be Aaliyah Andrews standing in her way.
Aaliyah Andrews.
There is a possibility that this 269th game of Aaliyah Andrews' career is her last. If LSU does not win, it will be. A career that you just don't want to see end. Was selected in the Athletes Unlimited Draft, Pro Softball League. So hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more of Aaliyah in our lives on a softball diamond. She's trying to extend her college career at least one more night. A player that Beth Torina calls kind of a superhero to all of us. Think about Beth Torina's time at LSU. 10 years, 9 of them have seen an Andrews in the outfield. AJ, who's doing some work for us this postseason, SEC Network, and Aaliyah. One of the great careers ever at this program. And those ranks do not include superhero catches, a category in which she's certainly either 1 or 2 with her sister AJ.
I think we should start tracking that.
You think so? How would you define that?
Superhero, superhero. Yeah, I like it.
I see you were going to go back to the DC reference there for a second. Andrews to short. Muffley to second. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Flaherty will lead it off much the way she did in the 7th. 1 run to win for Florida State. Florida State needs 1 run to win and advance to the World Series again. 3-3 Seminoles and LSU. And for what's going on the field right now, a report from field level. Let's check in with Jalen. What are you hearing down there?
I am hearing a lot of talk, be communicative, coming from the LSU dugout, trying to get rid of any jitters that they might have and totally forget about any defensive errors they made a couple innings ago. They want to make sure that they're being very communicative out on the field and talking to one another and uplifting each other.
Do you sense that from what we're seeing up here, Amanda?
Yeah, and I think that too, when you think about how loud this stadium is, communication is just at a premium. To be loud, to make eye contact, to have each other's backs. Got to play strong D here.
Allie Kilponen, a career-high 8 innings pitch for her. She'll start the 9th with Devin Flaherty, who's now seen 21 pitches in 3 trips. Florida State was down a run in the 7th. Flaherty started the rally with a single, came around to score on a passed ball. Still getting swings and misses. 126 pitches deep. 11 off a season high for Allie Kilponen. On Sunday, she started both games to end the regionals and threw a combined 202. Flaherty, a bouncing ball, picked by Clark at first.
It's a big out. Florida State's been good whenever they've gotten their leadoff on, and especially with the speed that Devin Flaherty has.
Win or lose, this has been another absolutely gutty effort by Allie Kilponen, who has grown so much in her LSU career. Came to Baton Rouge from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. She told us this week her first individual workout was at 12 noon at the height of the sun. She said, I was sweating so much I thought there's no way I can do this for 4 years. Now, she says, I can't get used to the cold. Baton Rouge is home, and that circle at Tiger Park has become her home within her new home.
Well, and you mentioned how far she's come and how much she's grown, and she told us, I had to change everything when I came here. But she was willing to put in the work. She was willing to be coachable, to learn, and look at where it's gotten her.
An off-speed pitch taken into center by Morgan. And the winning run is aboard with 1 out in the 9th for Florida State.
Just another veteran at bat. Danny Morgan has been 0 for 3 in this game. Before her last at bat, she's able to sit back on a changeup with 2 strikes and drive it right back up the middle. We're seeing the experience that this Florida State team has step up when they need them the most.
Here's Anna Shelnut, who also has plenty of that experience. Couple of big walk-off hits in her career. Earlier this year, we saw Anna lay down a walk-off squeeze bunt to sweep Duke in the regular season. 3 years ago, earned the moniker Postseason Anna when her walk-off home run in the ACC championship game gave Florida State the title over Pitt. 0-2 for Shelnut. Allie Kilponen now just 3 pitches shy of a season high. Another 0-2. Ball 1. Florida State, again, the home team in game 2 because the home and away teams switch every game. The Seminoles with a run to win it in Baton Rouge and get to the World Series. On 1-2, another pop-up foul. Shelby Sinceri, who started yesterday, is throwing in the LSU bullpen.
You get deeper and deeper in this game, and you've got to have her ready, just not knowing how many innings we might play. But you mentioned the gutsy performance by Kilponen. I just think that's probably the best word for it. It's not easy to play your back against the wall, a must-win situation for LSU, and she just had such a quality start.
This next pitch will set a season high, and it is taken low for ball 3. So Shelnut has worked her way from an 0-2 count with a couple of 2-strike foul balls to seeing an 8 pitch. Morgan the winning run at first, and a ground ball yanked foul. .203rd start, 224th game in the career of Anna Shelnut out of Franklin, Georgia. And ball 4 to Shelnut will move the winning run to second. What a plate appearance for Anna Shelnut. Perhaps one of the most memorable of her Florida State career as it pushes the Seminoles 1 base closer to the World Series.
veteran at bat. She looked calm, fouled off 5 different pitches within that at bat.
And Florida State is going to pinch hit for Josie Muffley. Kirsten Landers will bat. A third-year freshman, redshirted her first year, 358 in 24 games last year. And Landers was banged up a couple of weeks ago against Syracuse and dropped out of the lineup. She had been the leadoff hitter for much of the second half of this season. A third-year freshman batting. A couple of fifth-year seniors on base. And strike one to start Landers. Florida State just 1 for 14 in the game with runners on base. Landers in her first at-bat of the Super Regionals. Takes a close ball one.
Kevin, you can't help but think about how Florida State has just fought back in this game. They were down 2-0, but they've scored in each of the last three frames.
A run in the 6th inning. Mason singled in Sherrill, who had walked. Florida State's only hit with a runner in scoring position tonight, or in the series. A run in the 7th inning on a pass ball. And a 2-out home run from Mason in the 8th to send the game into the 9th. 1-2. Landers takes ball 2.
Such a tough take, but that pitch just hasn't been called all night to both lefties and righties. Landers clearly paying attention to the game, doing her homework, knowing what to expect and what the zone is like when she enters the game.
A line drive fair inside the bag of third. Morgan's coming home, and Florida State is going to the World Series. Kirsten Landers delivers off the bench, and the Seminoles sweep their way to Oklahoma City.
Let's congratulate Florida State as they will move on to Oklahoma City and play in the Women's 5 World Series. Also at the end,
A simply unforgettable night of softball.
There was so much fight out of FSU in this game, but also out of Kilponen in the circle. That pitch is off the plate, and Landers is able to lean her body to get her barrel on it and just barely keep it fair down the third base line and then get to celebrate with her teammates. It was so close, and it just sneaks past Doyle, who's playing third base. Barely fair ball. And Danny Morgan, who has wheels, is going to be able to score. Again, the veterans were able to step up for Florida State. They fought, they stayed composed, and they were able to get to Kilponen late in the game.
Taryn Antoine, one of LSU's seniors. Aaliyah Andrews, Amanda Doyle, Akia Times, Maribeth Gorsuch, an incredible senior class. But Florida State punches the first ticket to Oklahoma City. What a game, what a night from Baton Rouge. Let's go to Los Angeles.